Good morning guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well today. If you've been here before on this channel, you know that I've made a bunch of videos on this car already. But as time has passed, I've gotten to know it a little bit on a deeper level. And the first video that I made, I feel now that I look back on it, I feel like I made it look like everything was just a little too perfect. But now that I've had the car for about 18 months and I've driven it for approximately 37,000 kilometers, I feel like there's some highs and some lows that I've gotten to know with this time, and I would like to share that with you guys. So let's just do a quick review. Let's get to it. So let's start by talking about one of my favorite things, which is the seat comfort. Favorite things or favorite feature, whatever you want to say it. It's the seat comfort. So in most cases, seat comfort isn't really a thing until you've got a proper road trip. But I'm talking about these seats being next level. I mean, not next level, but I'm talking about good plush support, good bolstering, and zero fatigue in this one. I recently went for a road trip which was about 6 to 7 hours, and we only stopped once in between, and I did not feel tired at all. Even my friends who were in the back seat, they did not feel a thing too, and I was quite shocked to see that, because usually in most compact SUVs the rear seats like they only get to see the short end of the stick, but no, that was not the case over here. I'm talking about good support and good posture over here. So yeah, and even in daily driving, I mean, you just get into this car and it wants to make you go for a drive, and not all cars can do that. Next thing, let's talk about maneuverability. As I've mentioned before in my videos, this car feels compact on the outside but feels much bigger on the inside. I mean, it feels bigger. As soon as you get behind this wheel, you get a feeling of confidence, and it feels spacious enough, and it gives you that higher seating position without giving that feeling of bulkiness. So that's one thing. I have taken it through snow, I've taken it through mud, I've gone off-roading on this one, and it just goes pretty well. Like, it goes pretty comfortably, it just glides through everything. So a big thanks of that would go to the all-wheel drive system, or we can say the 4Motion all-wheel drive system, as Volkswagen has officially named this. And another thanks goes to these 19-inch wheels. Both of these things, they do a pretty good job of handling in on rougher patches and on tight spots, and through snow too. I mean, it gives you a great amount of confidence. Yes, we've also got a downside to this 19-inch, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But like, never I had to question myself whether my car can handle this. It just goes, and honestly, that peace of mind is just priceless. Okay, now let's talk about something that people love to debate about this car, which is the power. If you go up online and if you just type in Volkswagen Taos performance, you will see a whole range of videos where people have talked about how underperformed this car is. And one of the guys, they even raised it to a human who was on foot, and the guy almost wins. But here's the thing, I sort of disagree. I feel that it does a great job. I mean, the power just feels fine in terms of me. I mean, it's not a GTI, obviously. I'll say that, but like, what it's meant to do, it delivers just fine. And like, I would admit, like, sometimes when you're in drive mode, it can feel like you can feel a little bit lag, but not in most cases. And like, even when you switch to the sports mode, that's when you see, like, it turns out a huge amount of power. The throttle feels sharper, the gear shift feels more intentional, and like, you can overtake someone pretty quickly. In sports modes, it can beat any standard or like some great sedans without breaking a sweat. I've done it personally. I've like when I drive, when I overtake, I see that it has the power to like overtakes some sedans, and I mean, not just sedans but some standard cars, and that's a good thing. Now in 2025 model, they've upgraded the horsepower from 158 to 174, so that's an upgrade of 16 horsepower. and that's a noticeable change. So if you are keen on getting a 2025, then this won't be an issue to you at all. Now let's shift gears a little bit and let's talk about the downsides, starting with ride quality and especially this suspension. I mean, what's with this crappy suspension? I mean, I remember that I was praising those 19-inch wheels earlier. Well, yeah, they've got a downside too, which is that it makes the ride bumpy. Like, it makes you feel every pothole that you have. Whenever you hit a rough patch or whenever you when you hit a pothole, the impact comes inside, and that's not nice. I mean, I was expecting a little more absorbency from a car of this size, like from a compact SUV. But let's be honest, I mean, the car that can do so many things right, this is one thing that they could have improved upon. I've heard from people and I've seen online that they have improved this thing in the 2025, that's for sure. But yes, like if you mostly drive on the highways, like you should be fine. Or if you like live in, or like if your roads, I mean, if you mostly drive on clean roads, then for the most part you should be good. But yeah, I mean, I'm making a special emphasis. The suspension of this car is not good. Again, I'm saying that they could have improved it, but yeah, this is something that you'll have to live with. You should be really careful while considering this car. Okay, moving on to tech, and let's talk about the infotainment system. Okay, so this is the area where I've had the most issues in the car. I mean, the screen quality is nice, the feel and fit is fine, the response is also good, but like the glitches, I mean, they are just inconsistent. It's not stable. Like sometimes it decides to connect to Apple CarPlay via this cable, and sometimes it decides to connect through, I mean, wirelessly, and sometimes not at all. And I've been facing this issue whenever I disconnect a call. The CarPlay just logs off for no reason, and like whenever I'm playing music, it just randomly stops playing the music, disconnects CarPlay. It just glitches so much, and that's not a nice touch, because like whenever I'm driving, my focus shifts from driving and seeing what's on the road to fixing these issues. Whenever I lose my CarPlay, I lose to access to navigation, the calls and the music. So that's not a nice touch, Volkswagen. And then especially, I mean, in 2024 and 2025, the car makers should focus their attention to having smooth interfaces for like both the instrument cluster and the and the infotainment system, because these are central to our driving experiences now. And also, I just don't happen to have any proof of these things. It only happens when I am driving. Like, I took it to the Volkswagen dealership and this issue just never popped up, and it has happened quite a few times. So yeah, maybe if I like accidentally am able to record this, I'll share it in the future videos. But yeah, I mean, Volkswagen should definitely focus on this, like maybe improve this in the future models, or like maybe release a software upgrade to fix these glitches in the existing models. Another thing that I found myself wishing for are the memory seats. Like at this price point and in this segment, I wish that memory seats would have been a thing in this car. Like, it's okay if you are the solo driver, but if you share your car with someone, and when you get back to your seat, you just keep your you keep adjusting your driver's position, and it never goes back to how it was. There's always that 1% difference. But yeah, like at this price point, they would have been a great addition for sure. Even just a 2-position driver, a 2 memory setting memory seats would have been it would have made it a lot easier for people who swap drivers regularly. But it's okay. It's an okay thing if you are the solo driver. One last thing that I want to talk about is the piano black interior trims. Visually, yes, it looks nice. It looks amazing. It adds a premium touch to the cabin, and looks great under soft lighting. But it just attracts so much dust throughout. Like, there's a lot of fingerprints. I've gotten into the habit of cleaning it on an alternate day basis, but to be honest with you, you clean it and the dust comes back within like hours. This is pretty annoying. And then okay, on the plus side it looks good, but like I just joked to myself, maybe the dusty version or the dusty finish is what the company wanted originally. I mean, it's not a con really, but if you are someone who's super clean freak and loves their interior to be absolutely clean, then yeah, this is something that you should be like careful about when making or choosing Taos as your car. Thank you so much for watching it so far. Please make sure to like this video. Yeah, this was my review of the or my 18-month review of about the Volkswagen Taos. Please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more such content. Take care. Bye.